Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. I have my window open, so you might hear some birds out there, or maybe some cicadas, who knows. So today I'm taking a look at the NASB 2020 edition Side Column Reference Bible from Lockman. They sent me the Prime edition, and they sent the Leathertex edition in blue. So let's take a quick look at the specs: clear reading type, line match typesetting, single column text, full set of 95,000 cross references, full set of translation footnotes, verse formatting, so it's a verse by verse, black letter, 10.5 font, and then we've got some tools in the back. It actually has more in the back than it shows, so we'll take a look. First is the blue Leathertex. This one looks like goat skin or calf skin or something along that line. It's got an elegant grain to it. I like that. Perimeter stitching, stamped with a darker color. Now this one is paste down with a vinyl liner and silver gilt edges with a dark blue ribbon and a black ribbon. These are the 3/8 in double-sided satin. And let's see how this one stays open. Not bad at all. Stays open perfectly. So in the front we've got several end sheets. These are presentation page, marriages, wife's family tree, husband's family tree, births, deaths, and occasions to remember. And then here is the paper. I think the paper is different between the two. Printed in Korea. I'm not 100% sure on the paper for this one. I think it's around 30 GSM. It could be the same paper, but I don't think it is. We'll see as we go. And this one, I'm not going to really show a lot in this one because the pages are stuck together, and I have turned too many pages in my lifetime. I don't want to unstick that. So Lucinda gets this one. I'll keep this one. And this is the Prime edition in dark brown. They call it brown, but it is a dark brown. And the specs for this one is on the side. Same information. Also printed in Korea. And this one has a leather liner with a gilt line around the outside. Perimeter stitched. This one has raised hubs with gold stamping. And I love the grain on this one. It is a thick leather, but it's not so thick that I can't hold it open, but you can see that it is floppy. You can do anything you want to with that. I don't recommend doing too much rolling with it, but you can. So this can be a little difficult to hold open, but the text is in the center, so it's going to be easy enough to read if you do hold it open. Now this one does include the premium paper. Same information in the front. This paper is a little bit silkier, smoother, a little bit more opaque. Art gilt edges. It does come, you don't have to separate the pages in this one. That's only in the Leathertex. All the information in the front explaining the formatting. But then our text. And as you can see, this one stays open well. No issues at all. I don't have my typical complaint of the tab being too stiff and wanting to close, or with this paper being too much of a hump there. It's not that big of a deal. Stays open really easy. There's enough room in the gutter that we don't lose our text in the gutter. I'll zoom in so you can see that text without me holding it and shaking it. 10.5 point font looks good. Has around 12 to 14 words per line. Verse numbers are in bold to show the beginning of paragraphs. And as you can see, we have our references and our footnotes in the outer margin. References are at the top, footnotes are at the bottom, and this is the full set of both. It's an easy text to read. Poetry is formatted as poetry, and it is indented, so it does stand out. Poetry is broken in good places, so poetry looks really good in this. There's a little bit more space between the verse number and the verse and the text, so it does stand out, but not a lot. The main thing that stands out to me in poetry is where the lines break. These are shorter lines than you're going to see in prose. Prose has a longer line, poetry has a shorter line. That's the main difference. This is a black letter text, so in the New Testament we're not going to see any formatting for the words of Christ. We will see formatting for Old Testament quotes, and that will be in all caps. The paper is 31 GSM. We have an airplane behind us here. And there is the text. Here's an Old Testament quote in all caps. There's enough space between the lines that it's easy to mark it if you want to. Most pages have a little bit of space in the center, in the outer margin, so that if you wanted to make some notes, you can. So even though it's a verse by verse, it's still highly readable. You're just going to have some lines with space at the end. But it's still readable. Text doesn't bend too far into the gutter. So that looks pretty good. Then in the back we have some new tools. More than the others that I've seen. We'll take a quick look at those. We have the standards. We have the topical index from Lockman. So if you're familiar with any of the Lockman's reference editions, you're probably going to be familiar with this topical index. This is a really good index. It does have some theology in it, but for the most part, it is really good for study. And, you know, as always, use it for reference and do your own study. But this is a really good one. Very valuable for personal study and for sermon prep, classroom prep, that sort of thing. For writers, if you're a writer like me. Then we have the introductions to the books of the Bible. Just a paragraph on each of the books. And this keeps them from having to put them in the text. They're just in the back. Since you don't read them that often, that's fine for me. Then we have a table for the parables of Jesus, miracles of Jesus, important events in Christ's life according to the Gospels, Old Testament prophecies fulfilled in Christ. So this is a new one. Most of them have a couple of these, but not all of these. This is the only one I've seen with all of these. Read the Bible in a year, and then the Lockman maps. Here's how they look. These are really good maps, interesting maps. They have some texture, lots of annotations. It does not have an index, but the annotations do help. And it's highly readable. So let's take a look at the size and weight of both. First, Leathertex. And I'm giving you the overall size because that's the size you need if you're going to put this in a case. 6 3/4 by almost 9 3/4 by 1 1/4. This is a good size. I like this size. And it weighs 2 pounds, 9.9 ounces. The Prime Edition will be a little heavier. If I bend that over, we're still going to get around 6 3/4. Has a little bit of an overhang, but not a lot. By 9 3/4 by 1 5/8. This one weighs 2 pounds, 12.7 ounces. So that's my quick look at the Lockman side column reference Bibles in Leathertex and in goatskin. I like these Bibles a lot. I think they're a good size. I think the font is easy to read. I especially like the Prime Edition. I like this paper better. I think it's a little bit thicker paper than what you're going to get in this one because there's a little bit of difference in opacity. I don't know if that shows up on the camera or not. But the Prime Edition seems to be slightly more opaque and also slightly off-white versus the brighter white of the Leathertex. At least that's what it looks like to my eye. So I'll place links in the notes if you're interested in making a purchase. Also, I'll place links to the written review at Bible Buying Guide where I've already done some comparisons. I always put the comparisons in the written review. So if you wanted to see those quicker than I'm going to get to them in the video, then you can see those there. I will be doing some comparisons in video, but they'll take me a little bit longer to get to. And also, Lockman did supply these in exchange for honest review. And my honest review is I like these Bibles a lot. I think they're really readable. I think they're good for preaching and teaching. If you can get one or the other, I do recommend the Prime Edition. Although the Leathertex is a good value. You know, both are good Bibles. So if you wanted to go with a little bit less expensive, then the Leathertex is a good option. Thanks for watching.